Hey everybody, and welcome back to Tenza Motorsports. In today's video, we are going to be talking about angel eyes and halo rings on your BMW E46 and kind of dip into other BMW models with the same modifications. But before we get started, make sure you like this video if you enjoy this type of content. Make sure that you are subscribed as well if you are new. Also, make sure to check us out on Instagram, Tenza_motorsports. We do giveaways. All you have to do is follow us on there. And we try to post quite often, so make sure you're following us on there to keep up to date on our projects a little bit closer to when they actually are produced. Now, today's video, we're going to be talking about the E46 headlight halo ring installs. I got this topic from the E46 subreddit where somebody was asking about the angel eyes. So in this video, I'm going to be using angel eyes and halo rings interchangeably. They're basically the same thing. Somebody was asking from a purist perspective what people think about the angel eyes on the E46. And obviously most purists don't like modifying anything. In fact, they'll change very little about the car, even keeping the amber corner markers and side markers, which is one of the few things that I normally swap out on these cars to make them look a little bit more modern. And my opinion would be, do I think the E46 should have come from the factory with halo rings? No. I don't think that they should have come like that from the manufacturer, and I'll explain why. But first, let's start. Where did the halo rings first come from? The first BMW to have them was in 2001. It was the E39 5 Series. This was the first BMW ever manufactured to have halo rings on it. It was received really well, and here we are today with many types of halo rings, and now with the new cars, the daytime running lights aren't even really circles anymore. A lot of them have gone angular or even L-shaped. But the E46 did indeed have daytime running lights. It really was a computer setting. You could have part of your headlamp running as a daytime running light. But it really isn't that common, which is interesting because I've had a bunch of BMWs and I've never owned an E46 where the headlights were on as a daytime running light. But I think adding angel eyes to your car is an excellent way of adding daytime running lights, making your car look slightly newer without messing up the way the car looks. I absolutely love the E46 with halo rings, and I think you should absolutely change them. But back to the original question, should they have come from the factory? And I'll explain my point on that. So the first thing I want to talk about why I don't think they should have come from the factory like this is the reliability and complexity of the headlight. What's really nice about the E46 is the headlights really aren't that complicated. You have a harness that goes to each bulb individually, and when you want to replace something or change something, you've just got that one individual harness. Unlike the newer BMWs where you just have the one big plug going into the back of the headlight and then the wires go all over the place inside the headlight from there. It's difficult to get inside the headlight, it's difficult to work on them. These come apart. They're just super simple. The other thing that comes along with complexity is reliability. So now you've got a car that's coming up here on 20 some odd years old that have plastics and wiring that is starting to fail and come apart. They're left outside and plastic components just don't last forever. So what's nice about not having them in there is that eventually you'd have to pull them out anyways to replace them or do maintenance on them to keep them running properly. And in this case, you either have the option to not put them in or to put them in a way that you'd be doing anyways. And a lot of people aren't gonna want the yellow color. So that's the next point of why I don't think they should have come on the E46 from the factory, is if you go back to 2001, the E39 5 Series, the halo rings were kind of a yellow, and I don't like the yellow on these cars. So the E90X body style, those all had kind of yellow rings on them. A lot of the 1 Series did, and the first thing I would have done to those cars is either replace the light bulb or remove the ring completely and added a different set of rings in there. If you're either modifying or pulling the system out to replace them anyways, they might as well have not come in the car because you're going to go through and change them anyways. And that is due to the color, in my opinion. And the next thing that I would probably talk about is the brightness. They aren't as bright. These ones are so bright that I can actually drive at night with just the halo rings and the fog lights on if you're running around in town. I don't actually turn on my projector lenses, the headlights, until I go out where there's no street lights, which is why I was able to black out the headlights in this car specifically, because when I drive around town, I don't actually use my headlights. To avoid getting too far off topic, that's one of the reasons why I was able to black out the headlights, is because I put halo rings in it that are super bright. And I like the halo rings that have either white or just a little tiny tint of blue in them. Obviously you can't use blue or red on the front of your car because you will get in trouble for that. But the color where it's just got a little bit of a tint of blue to it, like the newer BMWs, I think that's absolutely killer on these cars. It makes the car look so much newer than it actually is. Most people don't believe me that I tell them it's a 2001 because of some of the cosmetic modifications I've done to the car. The last thing I want to talk about with this topic is that if you do your own halo rings, you're able to have them turn on and off when you want them to. You can put them on a switch, you can attach them to your fog lights, you can even have them running alongside your turn signals if the kit you have has the proper wiring for it. You can have them run like mine, where as soon as I turn on the accessory on your key, they turn on. You can do it when they hit the on position on your key. And all of that customization and preferences that you have, you would be then fighting the BMW factory rings that are in there. You'd have to either go in and reprogram them or turn them off, and it might throw a dash light, or say that the rings aren't running right, almost like a bulb if your bulb were to go out. So there's just a lot of things that make me happy that they didn't come like this, and that we're able to modify them afterwards and not have to worry about all of these little complications that go along with having a system in the car and you either modifying or removing that system to do something else. If the system doesn't exist, then it's much easier to implement what you're going to do to your headlights. I am a huge BMW nerd, but I am not a purist. Obviously, as you can see with this car here, I absolutely think that the E46 chassis deserves some halo rings, and I believe this for the E36, back to the E30, the E39s, the E38s, the E34s, the 60s, 82s, all of those should have basically white halo rings. It makes the car look about 10 years newer, and there's just something so mean about rolling down the street and having just your halo rings on, especially when it starts getting kind of late at night and that's all you can see is this silhouette of your car with a couple of angel eyes in the front. There's just something really menacing about that picture, and I absolutely love it. So tell me what you think. Should BMW have put the angel eyes on these cars originally? Are you a purist? Do you think that people should not modify these? Do you think like me, where I'm glad they didn't do this, but I think that you should add angel eyes to your car? Let me know in the comments below. If you have any other comments or questions, leave them down in the comment section below. I really do appreciate the E46 subreddit. If you haven't already and you're an E46 fanatic, make sure that you are on Reddit and that you are following the E46 subreddit. There's lots of comments and questions that I'll probably do more videos on. And if you have a comment or question that is something pertaining to a topic like this, I could potentially do a video on that. I like to do ones that if I can't just type back a simple reply, it actually takes some more explanation. I'll do videos on it. So make sure to leave your comments and questions down in the comment section below. And make sure that you are subscribed with your notification bell on. We have a huge video coming here in just a couple days. It'll be Christmas Day. It's a video on this car here. We're super excited about that. Thanks everybody so much for watching. We'll see you in the next video.
Bam!